Hi guys, it's Sarah with Grassroots Evolution, and I'm here today to bring you a monthly message for the sign of Sagittarius for June 2021. Keep in mind, my friends, it's a general message. Take what you feel resonates with you and disregard the rest. Go about your day and know that no matter what messages do come through, it's still up to you and your active free will, the choices you make and the steps you take in your world to get whatever fulfillment it is you'd like to see. To me, that's personal freedom, that's personal power. It lies at the tips of your fingers and at the soles of your feet, my friends. So use this wisely. That is your power to do. So for all my subscribers, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, love you, love you. Thanks for being here. You guys mean the world to me. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. If you feel like this resonates and you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Join the journey with me. And guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Help me circulate it. Your support is truly appreciated. So before I get into the reading, I do just want to call in spirit. I'm going to call in my team of light, Archangel Michael, as well as Archangel Metatron, as well as any of your spirit guides that would be here for the highest good of the entire collective that would like to be here. I'm going to ask them to join, and I'm going to ask them all to guide, guard, bless, and protect myself, this reading, and any of you who would ask for it, to use me as the clearest channel for the most far-reaching of an audience. However, for messages only for the highest good of those of us watching. Top-notch only, my friends. So I'm going to start off today. I have this Messages of Life Oracle by Mario Dugue. It's a pretty old deck. I have seen it in the stores. It just has a little different of a cover, but I still believe, if you are looking, that this is the cover page, that one. So let's see what messages we have here today for the sign of Sagittarius, guys. What spirit would like to let us know. One message for Sagittarius, please. Thank you. And you get the eyes of the heart that flipped out. So it says, I rediscover the real beauty in everything and every person I meet. I see beyond the personality and its superficial nature and see with the heart the energy of love that dwells in all of us. I know I am filled with wonder at the presence of God and all that is. The eyes of the heart allow me to see the divine shining everywhere. I now live in true light. And in this case, God could be spirit, can be source, it can be whatever you put your faith in here. I'm just, for any of you guys who feel like you may have a little bit of God blocks, don't take that part. It's just that you're able to see all around you the splendor and the divine in everyone and everything. And I feel like this was also what I heard, is I heard true forgiveness right now, as well as when we can see the goodness in people and when we can see with our eyes of our heart and we're looking out into people, into situations, it may be that it's a little gentler of a sight that we have. And also when we're seeing maybe people are acting out or they're acting in ways that we don't like, looking from the eyes of the heart may see a very wounded person rather than coming at them with anger or anything like that. So what I actually heard when I was shuffling with this was keep your cool. So Sagittarius, there may be a situation arising this month or in the next couple months that you need to keep your cool and see things from the eyes of the heart. This is definitely going to help. One thing I'm hearing is I heard rational, so we may want to try and look at things more rationally this month, as well as from the eyes of our heart. However, if we are needing to keep our cool, making sure that we are seeing things properly and in a rational manner, okay? So let's see what else Spirit would want us to know, please. And it says, overcoming. I overcome my fears, my anger, my ego, and all that separates me from my divinity. Through self-discovery and daily efforts in my spiritual quest, I cause the light to grow in and around me. I am in the great school of life and know that each of life's tests is necessary that I can is necessary so I can reign over my inner kingdom. And I think that definitely, if any of you guys have been experiencing anger, I heard irrational anger, I heard fits of rage or anything like that too. There could be situations that are happening right now that you feel are outside of your control and you're finding it hard to really kind of regulate your emotions. Make sure you talk to someone that you trust. I would also say if it's becoming an issue and it's spilling out into your outer world, into your family and your friends and the people around you, maybe something that you want to get help for. What I'm also hearing though is you may want to carry some lava stone I currently have, my son asked me to bring it. It's his, but this is silver sheen, black obsidian. But carry some black in your pocket. Definitely the lava stone would help with the anger issues. But if there is an anger that's being spurred from a larger aspect of life or a larger thing happening, I think it's really important to kind of break this down and go, why am I so freaking angry, right? For some of us, I know myself, I'll use myself as an example, put it out there, we call it rah around the house, but I get a little grouchier when I feel like I haven't had time to myself. So if I feel like I've been running around and giving and giving and giving and giving of myself, but I haven't taken the time to fill my cup, I know that I may lose it easier, right? I snap at something small rather than breathing and taking the time to assess the situation. So if any of you guys can agree or kind of if you feel me on that, here's where it's like, you know what, Spirit's saying make sure you get time for yourself, because it's really important in our own mental health as well. Get some exercise, because that's also really important. And for some of you, what I'm hearing as well is weight training or anything like that, just something that, or a nice brisk walk, something that's going to push your adrenaline and kind of like calm your nerves, because exercise definitely does this. It could be reading a book. It's whatever you feel. If I was talking and that rung a bell, here's where it's like, it's really important to go through these tests and understand that yes, maybe in the past we've dealt with things a little bit differently. Maybe we see our anger as a problem, but we haven't really known how to stop it, or haven't really known how to get a grip on it. What I want to say is, if you feel yourself kind of getting to that place, if you feel anxiety starting, you start shaking or whatever it is, whatever reaction it is, catch yourself. Be very, very conscious of your actions, of your feelings, and say, okay, self, am I angry? Why? Is there something that spurred this on? Is this happening out of nowhere? Am I experiencing anxiety? I think that it's really important. Just, they keep coming up with that for me. So needing to overcome that, and to realize as well that if you can see it, you can change it consciously. So each time you maybe start to get a little bit grouchy, say, you know what, I think I need to get a glass of water and I need to step outside, get out of the situation, and come back a few minutes later with a clearer head. Okay, get your ass out for a walk if you need to. Sorry for swearing at you guys, but it's tough love over here. You're going to be overcoming something and seeing with the eyes of the heart as well. What I think this is also coming to is, it says here, I know that each of life's tests is necessary so I can reign over my inner kingdom. Well, we have these little tests all the time to show our commitment. And this is also our commitment to ourselves. Do you want to be experiencing whatever situation we need to overcome, or do we want to have a commitment to ourselves to be like, you know what, I saw that, I didn't love it, and I commit to myself to act better in the future. I commit to myself to be more conscious and aware of when this is happening and to take steps to remedy it. Seeing through the eyes of our heart as well means that we're not going to be overly super critical or mad at ourselves and punish ourselves if sometimes we don't succeed. If sometimes we, how did I put this? Oh, okay. I heard trauma. Okay, sometimes we may have like irrational anger or trauma, or not knowing how, like even anxiety can like spur on kind of like outbursts. And I think this is where it's like, if it happens and you don't like it, make sure that right away you apologize to the people around you. You apologize to yourself for allowing it to happen, and go, you know what, you're human, right? We all have anger. We all have tempers. It's just learning how to get that in check and realizing, is this rational or is this irrational? And what I'm hearing is, well, somebody really may want to journal. So the bottom of the deck is beyond. I rise above the worldly illusions of fear. I always have the choice of how to live each step of my life. I therefore choose to live each situation in the light by turning my thoughts towards God. By living beyond the illusions of the material world, I enter into simplicity and peace. And I want to the top, it says, I welcome. I welcome life as it presents itself to me. I no longer struggle, but take each day each step on my path to fulfillment with faith and abandon. I do not need to fight the flow of life as I have nothing to prove. I could, excuse me, I continue to be light, even during times of hardship. I know all things will fall into place for my own greater good. What I also want to say about this, because I'm not going to get back into the anger stuff, but whatever we're overcoming, right? Whatever our ego needs to overcome, Spirit's saying, you know what? Welcome in the good stuff here. Because even in times of hardship, be the light. And know that without that dark, we wouldn't see the light. It's important. We all have, I heard, toxic traits sometimes that we need to work through. We all have a darkness. We all have something that we don't want to tell people, something harbor within us. And I think that this is really important to know that that darkness is a really wonderful tool. It's a really wonderful place where we can see parts of ourselves and see ourselves as whole, because we still have to love ourselves. Even though we see there may be darkness, there may be light, this is part of a complete whole. So love yourself where you've been, love yourself now, and be willing to change the things that have caused you heartache if it's something that's within your grasp. So definitely seeing yourself with the eyes of the heart, right? Knowing that you are human, that you are perfectly divine, and you are absolutely worthy of love in this life. So I'm going to pull a message from the Keepers of the Light Oracle, this one, by Kyle Gray, to see some supporting energy right now that will help you through this. And you get Kuan Yin that flew out to the bottom with care and compassion. And it says, choose to be love. Do what is right for everyone involved. Offer a helping hand. And this is going partly with that eyes of our heart thing. See through that. Be love. Choose to be love. They're really drawing me back to this offer a helping hand. There may be one of the things that is really helpful and even healing for you is helping people that are less fortunate. It could be that, hey, you know your neighbor needs a little bit of help. Hey, I'll help you out. You know, if you know that you have an elderly grandmother or something like that, you cook them a meal, take it to them. There are lots of different things that you can do in this world. And when it says to choose to be love, I've been so emotional today, I apologize guys, but partly for me, I like to feed people, right? So that's one example of being love. What is love? Love is giving freely and unconditionally of ourselves. And I feel like it doesn't mean that we're going to give people all of us, but it means that when we give love, when we do a service, we're doing it from the heart, and we're not putting conditions on the love that we have. So, for example, I want to be really clear about a difference between an unconditional love and allowing somebody to beat us down, because I know myself in the past, and maybe many of you guys have experienced this before, this idea of unconditional love for me meant no boundaries. When, man, you gotta have boundaries, because you have to have unconditional love for yourself as well. And if you're not putting your boundaries in place, other people are just like, I'm gonna take, and then you got nothing left to give, and then you're gonna be grouchy and rah-rah, right? For myself. So here's where it's like, take care and compassion, choose to be loved, do what is right for everyone, but don't forget that you are part of that everyone. So if taking the time, okay, so for example, if you have a lot on your plate, right, but you're offering helping hands elsewhere out, making sure that you're balancing it so that you're not offering the help everywhere, but where you actually need it on your own workload. They want me to show the bottom, which is also charity, which is one of the seraphim angels, one of God's holy angels. And it says, connect to heaven, ask and you shall receive, prayer and contemplation. I feel like Spirit's really strong here. Like, get in touch with Spirit, get in touch with the divine, even if you feel like you're just talking. It doesn't have to be necessarily a prayer all thought out. It can just be talking to Spirit, because this relationship that you have with Spirit, it's only yours. No one else is going to have the same relationship with Spirit. So they want me to take one more of this card, please. One more helping energy before we move on. Thank you. And you have Ascended Master Jesus at the floor with forgiveness. It says, you are on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. And the bottom was Lord Ganesh with infinite abundance. Obstacles are being removed. Spiritual support and connections are increasing. I think this is important. Many of you may actually be going through some father healing. There may also be, when we think about if anybody has gone through like anger issues and stuff like that, if you feel like you may have some sort of PTSD or anything like that from your childhood as well, depending on how this is going to fit for you or your situation. This particular card, I feel like, is saying, you know what, when we're children, this is when we're most impressionable, right? Our inner child is going to need to heal. Our inner child is going to also need to, I heard, be shown the way. So it's really going to be important to forgive yourself, to forgive the people in the past that may have hurt you, because holding on to that stuff isn't doing you any good. And it's not about, you know, again, like I said, unconditional love without boundaries, but it's unconditional love for yourself and being able to see through the eyes of the heart. You know, one of the things that I think while we heal, right, on our spiritual journey, on our healing journey, and any of you guys who've had parents, and again, I'm getting emotional, we've all had parents, I mean children. Any of you guys who are parents, though, if you've had children, you know, you start to see a little bit more of where your parents were just human. If there's been times where, you know, things weren't always great, they were learning too, and they're human beings on a healing journey just like you. And all of our experiences, the past, it affects who we are. It affects how we function on day to day. And if we're not healed, if we don't take an active approach in our healing, we end up, some of us could end up toxic. And this is the stuff that's happened that can be carried down generation to generation. If I'm feeling, even I'm hearing like history of violence, or like the continuum of violence. So for example, and I'll get off this, but Spirit's like, you need to say it. I always like to use the example of families from the confused called baby boomers, or like World War One, World War Two, specifically World War Two in this case, but even before, right? And family structures that we had corporal punishment, okay, let's put it that way, where the love was shown differently. A lot of times, especially too, there was a lot of hard work to be done, so it wasn't the same, where a lot of people didn't feel like their emotional needs were being met. But then you also have corporal punishment, right, which is how people were taught to discipline their kids. And then you have people coming out of generations who have felt abused physically, mentally, emotionally, sexually, all of these different things, not understanding how to cope with it, and having trauma within their own worlds. And then generation after generation, it's getting better each time, but you've got this trauma and these experiences and these inabilities to understand, I think, exactly how to express your feelings, how to do it, what's the word, constructively. There may be a lot here, okay, but it's a wide topic, but I'm feeling like there's a place in this forgiveness to understand that if stuff from your past is coming up, if there's parental healing that needs to happen, seeing things from the eyes of the heart is going to look at a big wide spectrum, and it's not making excuses for the behavior. It's seeing a bigger picture and understand an underlying cause, because if we can understand more of an underlying cause, it's easier to come up with some sort of solution, because we can see where it's come from, okay? And I think this is really important to remember, that change comes with you. So some of you, and this is just some of you, but some of you may be caring for an elder family member who you feel has wronged you, that may have abused you. Forgiveness may not be always easy, but doing this with the eyes of the heart, and, you know, knowing that this person, hopefully, has learned and grown. They may not have, right? Some people are just dicks their whole life. But I think this is really rare for your own peace of mind. And for some of you, if you feel like, sorry guys, but if you feel like, you know, the person that you're caring for may be close to the other world, or maybe close to the end of their lifetime in this life cycle, this is where it's really important to put down the blame. My God. To put down the blame, and see them as human and give them a chance, a redemption, and offer love. This is really important. I'm just going to pause you guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm going to move on, but my kid decided they wanted to ask me if I wanted my Hulkbusters. They've been making me have Lego destroyed, and I didn't really want it destroyed. So I have a message now from the Muse Tarot with a little tarot advice for anyone watching, please, for Sagittarius. Thank you. You get the Fool. Because this is a pathway to a brand new life. Stepping stones to a brand new life. You drop the stuff that's been heavy, it's going to feel so different, right? Tell me more about this Fool. I heard active awareness too, and there's importance about being able to weave between worlds, because this Fool is actually not even standing on the ground. They are jumping above the ground with the cosmos on one end and a desert on the other, and a ladder being able to go up here. So I think that it's important to remember that the possibilities here are limitless, and this Fool also has an infinity sign here. Definitely, to me, again, speaking of continuums, speaking of cycles, and I think also important to know that sometimes these really difficult relationships in our life, they give us some of the most important and massive spiritual growth of our lifetimes. There was an important lesson there, okay? There's also something I'm hearing. It was from it's from an oracle that I can't remember, but it talks about our parents and knowing that, it's the unicorn, the magical unicorn oracle by Doreen Virtue. One of the cards is that your parents love you as much as they know how to. And that's important, because when we think about this, some of our parents, they weren't loved. Or if they were loved, they weren't shown love in the way that they needed. They didn't feel love. And that kind of shit, that's where it trickles down, right? So if you didn't feel loved by your parents, if you feel like, there was stuff withheld, here's where, yes, you have every right to be upset. But I ask you to look at the bigger picture as well. Because sometimes it's not that they didn't love us. It's they don't know how to show it. So I feel like this Fool for you, maybe, I keep hearing, look at the bigger picture. Look at a new start. Tell me more about this Fool. It's so emotional. And so you have the Magician and two other cards that fell down here. Nine of Voices, which I think here is really important because there's slumber. A lot of times the Nine of Voices, in this case it's the Nine of Swords, is nightmare, right? A nightmare stage. Here, she's being protected by that nightmare. And you also have here the Star. There is healing, there is success, there is wish fulfillment as well, and there's definitely an importance here. If you see the Magician, it's coming straight down from the crown into the crown of divine energy. What you think is what you create, right? Your mindset creates this idea of a world around you. Change your mindset, change your life, right? Take all of those nightmare hell situations, and what was the lesson, right? There are times where we think things are horrible, and we realize later we were being protected from an even worse situation. One major example of this is like you break up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you're super upset, but if you've experienced any kind of codependency, right, or that unconditional love giving and not boundary setting, it feels like a friggin' nightmare. But you're all upset in the time because this situation, this love situation, isn't here for you, and you're codependent enough that your worth is being attached to this somehow. When we change that, when we decide we're no longer going to look at that, we're going to look at ourselves as whole, we're changing. That's not a nightmare. That was a rest period. And you have the Star here. I also heard the Pole Star. But what's really important as well is to stay connected to the divine. If you feel like you're experiencing nudges to do things, follow your heart. I'm just going to pause you for a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. So this Star, I'm going to clarify a little bit. Nope, I dropped one out. The bottom of the deck was the Two of Voices. And I think, again, this is a decision. This is a decision on your part that you're going to move past some stuff. The Ace of Voices in the reverse on the bottom. I think as well sometimes, especially any of you guys who may have had a really rough upbringing or had parents who didn't feel love and didn't know how to express this, our internal voice gets a little messed up, right? We think that we're not lovable, we think that we're not loved, and we think that we're not good enough, and that is so far from the truth. We need to change the way that we think and decide, quite honestly, to plow forward, to move into those uncharted territories, into unmapped lands, and to create the world that we want to see. And this could be for our own kids as well. The biggest gift you can ever give your children is your own healing, right? Because then you're not perpetuating, hopefully, the cycles that happen to you. What just fell off of this when I went to grab it was intention. And that's so important. Your intentions create your reality. Set your intentions. Set your intentions to be very conscious and aware, right? So anger, again, is one of those things, right? When you're feeling yourself, take a moment. If you are feeling anxiety, set your intentions that you're going to be very clear, that you're going to be calm. Hold your fire. That's what I heard as well. But this intention is really important. Your mind has more power than you give it credit for. It is so magnetic and so powerful. So I feel like one thing that's also important here is to set your intention to not only be love and spread love out into the world, but set your intentions to give love to yourself. And there's something else, and every time I go to say it, they're taking it away. It'll come back. So one last message here, please. Thank you. Divine timing's at the bottom. I just threw my cards everywhere. I'll pick them up. But then a bunch came out, and forgiveness is at the bottom again. So this is definitely feeling to me very, very important, right? Because if we don't forgive now, eventually it's going to happen. And if, like I said, if the person or the group of people that you are currently dealing with, and this feels like it resonates for you, is close to the end of the life cycle, it is a better life cycle. It's gonna benefit both of you now to go through that healing and forgiveness journey, because once they pass on, you're still gonna have to do this. You're going to have to go through the forgiveness journey as well, but you're not going to get to experience the open-hearted love the same way while they're here. So, you have nature. Get yourself out into nature. Enjoy the beauty of the day. Enjoy the smells in the air of the flowers. Also, I heard, like, you may want to take your loved one outside. Power. Don't forget your power. And that's where your boundaries are as well. And love is your power. An open heart and a forgived heart. Some people think that forgiveness is weakness. Some people think that crying is weakness. But I actually think it takes a lot of strength to show your emotions and show your vulnerable side. Where a lot of people are afraid to. And they're afraid to because of the reactions other people get. And some people are uncomfortable with emotional displays. And I feel like this is where don't feel bad if you're an emotional person. Know that that is a superpower in itself because you're very aware of your emotions. Surrender and release. You have listening. This is a great time to listen to spirit. Listen to your own inner nudges. Listen to the people around you. Listen to the people that need forgiveness and answered prayer. Some of you may have wanted a great relationship your whole life with a particular person, a parent, a loved one, and it may have always seemed tense, may have always seemed strained is what I'm hearing, but here's a real place for change is coming up. And I think it all starts with us. Your prayers are being answered, and that's a really important thing. So listen to spirit, again, listen to your loved ones, and surrender and release what is no longer meant for you, and accept this world standing in your power. Make those decisions that are right for you, my friends. It's what I have for you. I hope you always trust and believe in yourself, you beautiful people, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.